Presenting Cock Lane, a small street in Smithfield in the City of London that will go down in history with the likes of Pratt's Bottom, also in London, and Crapstone in South Devon. Previously known as Coke's Lane, it was once the site of many a brothel and, historically, Pye Corner, the junction between Cock Lane and Giltspur Street, marks the furthest extent of the Great Fire of London. Not just a funny name in a big city, Cock Lane is the location of a 1762 haunting that sparked mass public attention in its time and centred around three individuals: William Kent, a moneylender, Richard Parsons, a parish clerk, and his daughter Elizabeth. In 1756, William married Elizabeth Lines, the daughter of a grocer from Lynham. They moved to Stoke Ferry, where William kept an inn and later the local post office. They were very much in love, but their marriage was short-lived, as within a month of the move to Stoke Ferry, Elizabeth died during childbirth. Her sister Frances had moved in with the couple during Elizabeth's pregnancy, and she stayed to care for the baby. Sadly, the child did not survive long, and rather than leave, Frances stayed on to take care of William and the house. Thrown together by tragedy, the couple found themselves falling in love. Unable to marry due to local law, William gave up his life in Stoke Ferry with Frances and moved to London, hoping to start fresh. Despite this hope, William remained in contact with Frances, who had moved in with her family. They exchanged love letters, filled with their ardent desire to be together again. Eventually, William allowed Frances to join him at his lodgings in East Greenwich, near London, where they agreed to live as if man and wife. Frances's family had always maintained their disapproval of her relationship with William. This disapproval came to a head when the couple's new landlord, informed of their unconventional relationship, refused to repay a debt owed to William. Outraged and hot with the belief that Frances's family had tipped off the landlord, William had him arrested. One Sunday, whilst attending morning church, William and Frances met Richard Parsons, the officiating clerk. Sympathetic to their story, he offered them lodging in his house in Cock Lane. Located along a narrow, winding road, similar to most of central London streets, the three-storey house was in a respectable but declining area and comprised a single room on each floor, connected by a staircase. The Kents moved in, and William loaned Parsons, who was low on funds, 12 guineas to be repaid at a rate of a guinea per month. It was while William was away at a wedding in the country that the first reports of strange noises began. William had asked Elizabeth, Parsons's eldest daughter, to watch over Frances, who was then several months into her pregnancy, while he was away. The two reported hearing scratching and rapping. These were, however, attributed by Mrs. Parsons to a neighbouring cobbler, despite the neighbour in question not working at the time of some of these occurrences. With Frances due to give birth, William made arrangements to move to a property in Clerkenwell, but by January of 1760, with preparations for their move incomplete, they decided instead to move to temporary accommodation nearby. Tragedy struck later that month when Frances fell seriously ill. The attending doctor diagnosed her with the early stages of an eruptive fever, known today as scarlet fever. To aid with her recovery, Frances was moved to their new, cleaner property in Clerkenwell. This was all to be in vain, however, as her doctor delivered a grave diagnosis. Her symptoms were consistent with smallpox, which would ultimately prove fatal. Frances died the following month. As the sole executor of Frances's will, William arranged for a coffin, but, fearing potential legal repercussions if the nature of their relationship were revealed, he requested that the coffin remain nameless. However, when registering the burial, he had no choice but to provide a name using his own. Frances's family were duly informed, and her sister, Anne Lines, residing nearby at Pall Mall, attended the funeral at St John's. Upon learning of Frances's will, which left her siblings mere scraps, and bestowed her fortune upon William, Anne waged a futile battle. William's share, primarily comprised of Frances's £150 from her late brother Thomas's estate, including land, was linear at £95. The family fumed with resentment. Legal complexities arose due to the land sale, compelling Thomas's heirs to cough up £45 each. William, however, insisted he had already spent the money settling old debts. Echoing his past landlord's nonchalance, Parsons had yet to repay William's loan, leaving 3 guineas unsettled. William, in frustration, instructed his solicitor to seek legal action, and by January 1762, William had retrieved his remaining guineas. Simultaneously, the eerie disturbances in Cock Lane resumed. A lodger, Catherine Friend, fled the house due to unrelenting noises, likened at the time to the sound of a cat scratching at furniture. Determined to uncover the source, Parsons enlisted a carpenter to dismantle portions of his eldest daughter Elizabeth's bedroom, having previously concluded her regular seizures were the cause of the noises. With support from a local preacher, they somehow concluded that in fact not one, but 2 spirits haunted the house, Frances and her sister Elizabeth, William's deceased wife. While some may consider this conclusion something of a stretch, the notion of spirits returning from the grave was a widely held belief at the time. The presence of 2 supposedly restless spirits signalled to both men an important message. Communication was key. They quickly established an ever-reliable method of contact, still used today in horror movies and many an urban exploration video: 1 knock for yes, 2 for no. The ghost claimed Frances had been murdered. The conclusion, based on seemingly no evidence at all, was that Elizabeth's ghost, previously mistaken for her sister, had appeared to forewarn her. Further questioning of Frances's ghost revealed she hadn't succumbed to smallpox, but arsenic poisoning administered by William himself. Defying all reason, the preacher, John Moore, trusted the spirit's revelations entirely. Following a series of accusatory reports written by the Public Ledger, a local rag, William Kent fell under public suspicion. As you would expect, William wished to clear his name and sought out Moore, who in turn showed him the questions they'd asked the ghost. One pertained to his marital status with Frances, leading William to confess they were never actually married. Upon the encouragement of Moore, who now considered on this basis William to be an innocent man, he paid a visit to the Parsons house, bringing with him the 2 doctors who tended to Frances in her final days. Together they conducted a new séance, with William hoping to witness the accusations against him for himself. Once again, the ghost of Frances was summoned, and, once again, it maintained that William was the orchestrator of her demise, having ruthlessly poisoned her. With the spirit doubling down, the press hounding at his door, and all but Moore believing the knocks and bangs, William hired legal counsel in the shape of Henry Fielding, a Westminster magistrate. Initially reluctant to help, he was a professional after all, he relented and ordered a thorough inspection of the house. We can safely assume he was sceptical of the validity of the ghost and its claims. The investigators found a small board under Elizabeth's bed, connected to a wire and a hole in the wall, allowing manipulation from another room. Fielding concluded the ghostly communication was a hoax, orchestrated by members of the household. Having been utterly found out, Parsons confessed, revealing the deception. The Cock Lane ghost was debunked, and the accusations against Kent were baseless. Parsons and others involved were arrested and charged with conspiracy. The Cock Lane ghost scandal stands out as a historic hoax, exposing public gullibility in the face of the supernatural, exposing the absolute power of the press, which remains to this day. Of all the parties in this story, it was the one that no one could see that was believed, by mere suggestion, and those who wished to add a little drama and perhaps some extra paper sales to the day-to-day. Why trust your own opinion? your own eyes when the rags are telling you there are supernatural shenanigans afoot. Thanks very much for listening. If you'd like to contact us or check out what we've been up to, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you enjoyed the video today, please do like it, subscribe to the channel, and ding the bell to receive notifications about new videos. See you in the next one.